Hello everyone, so we've talked a lot about Nagash lately, and yeah, that's pretty cool, but we have to start talking about units. The thing is, we know that there's some units already confirmed for Nagash, but that's obviously not going to be all of them, or at least I hope not. Because this is a DLC that could help a lot of different factions, and so far it's looking like it's going to help the Tomb Kings a lot, which is great, because more Tomb King content is always welcome. So let's talk about the possibilities with this DLC. But before anything, a big thank you to our sponsor, Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a platform where you'll be able to buy games at a discounted rate. It's a brand new year, you're done with all the Christmas drama, maybe you want to pick up a brand new title, and Instant Gaming has them all on really good discounts, even titles that haven't released yet, like Resident Evil Requiem, which is 32% off. I'm looking forward to this one as, you know, we're going back to Raccoon City, so that should be interesting. And oh nice, there's a brand new DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 3. Awesome, I really did enjoy that game. But not only that, we have our monthly giveaway going on. Win the game of your choice. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below and sign up. You don't even have to make a purchase. But making a purchase with my special link also supports the channel at no extra cost to you. I use these services myself, so I'm more than happy to promote them because, yeah, gaming is expensive and, well, I just moved, so I'm spending more money than anticipated. So every now and then I do want to buy a game and get a really good discount, and I've really enjoyed Instant Gaming for that. So thank you once again to Instant Gaming. Let's return to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so there have been a few confirmations of what we're getting in this DLC. So we have Nagash as the Legendary Lord, Wallach Harkin as a confirmed legendary hero, and it's also been confirmed that we're going to get the other two Mortarks, so that's the Nameless and Dieter Hellschnitt. I'm assuming they're going to be legendary heroes too, meaning that we're already getting 4 new things in the Nagash portion of this DLC. Especially as we know the confirmation of the Morghas, we've also got the Tomb King Herald, which is something that I think a lot of people really wanted, myself included, and finally the Big Beetle. Yeah, if you saw the reveal video, I was incredibly surprised that the Khemric Titan was coming. Especially since we're not getting that for the old world, and we ended up with the Tomb King Dragon. Which is cool, don't get me wrong, but Big Beetle is cool. I'm taking the assumption that the Morghast is a unit and not a hero. There are different types, so it's very likely that we could end up with both types, with one being a hero or not. But so far, it's already looking pretty stacked. Basically hitting the limits of what we should expect. Now, there's a few things that need to be talked about here. Is this DLC going to be slightly more expensive? And I could imagine that the end time stuff could be a bit more expensive. Which if so, then they'd have to add in a bunch more things. Either way, there's only 2 units as far as we're aware, and we've got a bunch of legendary heroes and 1 generic hero. So it's very likely we could just not see any generic lords or other generic heroes to be introduced. And that's actually perfectly fine, considering that we're not really missing that much in terms of lord and hero options. The thing is, we are missing a generic lord option, and it is quite important to discuss. So we still don't have hero fonts for the Tomb Kings, and this is basically just a spellcaster lord. In the tabletop, you always have to bring one, but when it comes to Total War, it's not really a thing, right? And it's a good thing that that's the case, or else, you know, a lot of armies wouldn't be viable for a lot of different factions if we went by tabletop restrictions. Spellcaster lords are very popular. I mean, the most important thing to note here is that generally the unique spell lore for the Tomb Kings isn't great, so it'd be great to see that kind of reworked a little bit. Alongside, we do know that Nagash is going to have his unique spell lore, so it could be possible that we could see Tomb King hero fonts come in, being able to use that too, as pretty much everyone and their mother could use that spell lore. I know it sounds weird, but even dwarves could too. Look, I've endlessly complained about the end times as a setting, and there's a good reason for that. It's about time that we get this. It would be a really good fix there. I don't know if that's possible. Again, maybe they're doing so many legendary heroes because, like, yeah, it's Nagash, might as well go full ham. People are going to buy it. Loads of big names are going to incentivize. But I would be kind of disappointed if we didn't get the generic caster lord. Next, we'd be looking towards spirit hosts. I think it's only an eventuality here. I mean, the spirit hosts are kind of in the Nagash model, you know, you can kind of see them going and flying about. So it makes sense to reuse those assets to make units. It's a swarm unit, essentially just there to hold down the enemy, but it's about time that we got more swarms. We've just got the Nurglings. It's kind of disappointing that we haven't had any new ones, and they were really popular on the tabletop days because they could hold down the line very well. I mean, ethereal units were just so broken. Same thing as Hexwraiths. A lot of people kind of like go, oh yeah, Hexwraiths are strong in Total War. No, you should see them on the tabletop. They are horrendous. So a unit like this should be available to the vampire counts and also Nagash. And I think this is what's going to happen. We're going to see one unit here, one unit there, with a little bit of a mix, which I think is quite important. You know, everyone getting some love here and there would be really beneficial. And I think we would get a second vampire count unit in the form of Coven Thrones. Mostly because Neferata is coming, so I imagine that Coven Thrones will be implemented. A lot of people do want them. It's essentially just another corpse cart or mortis engine. Hell, it uses the same kit as the mortis engine. But I imagine that this could end up becoming more of a heavy buffer instead of the mortis engine being such a heavy killer. It's a bit of a weird one because most people just see it as a mount option nowadays, especially with the old world. It's just literally a mount option. On the tabletop nowadays, it's more against the enemy leadership and stuff, but you get a lot of attacks coming out from it because you've got the Spirit Horde, you've got the Handmaidens. I think that this could just be changed up to be a buffer. I feel like it would be very useful, add in a little bit more differences there. Like, we do have some buffers with the corpse carts, but this would be just to move faster. Just be like the mortis engine version, essentially. Just the opposite. But it could be introduced, then that means that we got the unit version and we've also got a mount version, which would be kind of cool, unless they just decide to go with mount only, which is, I mean, it's possible. It's totally possible. And this is where I can see problems arising. You see, this is already looking quite good. Like, it's not a problem, but you get what I mean, right? There's not a lot of missing units that you could realistically do, unless going back into unit variants, but I think a lot of people were pissed off with the idea of unit variants because, oh, well, you know, this can pop up instead through FLC units that they can do through patches. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'd be kind of content with this in terms of, like, content, but I think some people would want a little bit extra. The thing is, the Morghast would likely be 2. The Camric Titan's big. Spirit Host is 1. Then you've got the Coven Throne. What they could do here is probably introduce the Tomb Swarm. I think that's a pretty iconic unit. A lot of people, especially nowadays, have been running them in the old world because they've got a brand new model that actually looks good now. It's not just like, oh yeah, this is a base with just some crap on it. These look really, really cool. I could see them being introduced as monstrous entities rather than swarms, but being introduced as like monstrous units like what's happened with the elementals. And that could actually work out quite well. The problem is it's very drastically different to what it does on the tabletop, but it could give the Tomb Kings a swarm type, well, monstrous swarm. I don't know how to actually classify this type of unit. But the Tomb Kings aren't really missing much unless they want to go really back and do mummies. I just don't see mummies happening. I really don't see mummies happening. I think this does look a little bit more realistic. Yeah, like it's not supposed to be massive, but you're getting a lot of like named characters that are going to be found in different factions. You're also going to be getting your hands on Nagash, and I think the main selling point here is Nagash over the units. Like the Camric Titan is just extra adding to the cake, really, for me. Nagash is the big character. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd also get another legendary hero, but I think it's asking for a bit too much. We're missing a Tomb King legendary hero in this DLC, and Prince Apophis is really important for Nagash. When Usirian gets killed and devoured by Nagash, Prince Apophis basically becomes his thrall. And I think a lot of people really want the Prince of Scarabs, right? Maybe that's something that they could do? Just to go like, hell, look, everyone's getting a legendary hero. The Tomb Kings are currently lacking one. It's a very odd thing here, because every time that I think about Nagash, I think, oh yeah, Prince Apophis. I'm actually looking at the Prince Apophis model right now, because I painted him up for the old world, and yeah, he does perform quite well. Is it too greedy to ask for another legendary hero? Surely Creative Assembly are thinking about that, right? I don't see that we're going to get like a lot of DLCs for the Tomb Kings in the future, even in the form of character packs. And hell, they could wait and do him in the form of the character pack, but we're getting Tomb King stuff right now. It just feels like there's something a little empty there, right? I know a lot of people are going to be saying, well, what about the Vampire Coast? But the problem is that they, like I said in the video yesterday, they want an army book. So unless Games Workshop is working on something in the back end, I don't see anything popping up for them. DLCs like this must be tough for Creative Assembly to do because it's a hybrid faction, right? It is confirmed that Nagash is his own race, so he's going to be taking from multiple factions. Think of this very similar to that of Daniel, but hopefully handled a little bit better. I think the most focus needs to go towards the vampires and the Tomb Kings. Realistically, finishing them all off with open areas for like character packs if that happens. Which makes me question a lot of things because Neferata was originally going to be a character pack, so I do wonder what they had planned to fill that out. Yes, the character packs are supposed to be smaller, but what exactly has been added in from that character pack alongside Neferata to this DLC. Neferata is free, but you get what I mean. There has to be something that has to be lumped in. That's probably why they decided to lump her in. I'm leaving Prince Apophis as a wild card there. Maybe it's possible, but I think that, yeah, that's a pretty stacked DLC. I do wonder what the price is going to be, considering the multitudes of legendary heroes, but maybe they're just trying to be nice. Maybe they're like, oh, it's going to sell regardless, it's fine. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below to start a bit of discussion. Maybe you guys have different plans or ideas of what a full roster for this DLC could be, but we know that there's going to be other lords, we know that there's going to be other races, so I don't think they're going to go too ham on one. I think they're going to go a little bit here and there. Again, because it's the end times, they could see it a little bit just more expensive and go from there. Which if the content is good, yeah, people will buy it. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I do apologize, it's late today. Yeah, there've been issues. I've been trying to sort out a bunch of issues. See you soon, guys.